What's good, YouTube? We back with another video, man. I got something real special for y'all today. I really do. Matter of fact, this is some credit advice based off my experience. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, man, if you're not doing these three things I'm about to tell you right now, you're not serious. You playing games. So without further ado, man, let's get started. Now, I know a lot of us, man, a lot of my audience probably y'all be in your 20s or even your 30s, and a lot of you might have issues with your credit. I know I've had issues in the past with my credit, as you know, a lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but honestly, I did. I've had issues in the past with my credit, and I've learned a few things, man, from my experience that I want to share with you guys, and hopefully, it can actually help you guys to master credit and actually understand credit a little bit better. So let's get started. The first thing I want to say about understanding credit is that there are various different types of credit scores. All right, there is a FICO score, there's a Vantage score. A lot of people go on Credit Karma and they think that, oh, because Credit Karma says I have a high score, that means I can get anything, and that is false. That's false. There's nothing further from the truth. As a matter of fact, banks, all the major lending institutions, they actually use the FICO model, not the Vantage model. So Credit Karma is really not the best place to actually go and check your status with your credit. What you want to do is you want to download Experian. They have the Experian app. Download the Experian app. Get that app and then put in your credentials, sign up, whatever you need to do, and then you'll actually see your FICO score. That's the one you need to focus on. All right, so that's number one. The number one tip in fixing your credit is to know exactly where you stand. You can't know where you stand unless you have the Experian app, or you can also get the MyFICO app. But regardless, the score you should be looking at is the FICO score, because the banks, lenders, they don't care about the Vantage. They don't care about none of that shit. All they care about is your FICO. So make sure you get on top of that. All right, number one. For me personally, this is from my experience, and this will get you the fastest results. You want to use 10% of your credit line. A lot of experts say you should use 30%. Y'all can do that if y'all want to. I'm giving y'all my experience. And in my experience, I use 10% of my credit line. Not my credit card, but my credit line. So there's a difference between your credit line and your credit cards. Let me explain. If you have a credit card and you have a limit of say $500, right? And you have one credit card. Your entire credit line is $500. You're gonna want to spend 10% of that, all right, for optimum results on your credit score. Now, say you have three credit cards. You have one for 100, you have one for 500, and you have one for 1,000. That's a total credit line of $1,600. Now you have $1,600. So now you can actually spend 10% of that, credit line. So that's what I mean when I say spend 10% of your total credit line, not your credit card, unless you have one credit card. That's the only way that you would want to spend 10% of that credit card. You can spend 30% if you want to, but I'm telling you from my experience, 10% is the sweet spot. All right, so that's what y'all want to do. Spend 10% of your total credit line, and you'll experience a high acceleration in your credit score. Number two, stop using debit cards. I cannot stress this enough. Debit cards are essentially useless. They're worthless, right? Stop using debit cards, because for one, they don't help your credit score in no way. Debit cards to me, the only use for a debit card is to go to the ATM and pull some money. I don't pay bills with my credit card, with my debit cards. I don't do none of that. All right, so stop using debit cards. What you need to do is use your credit cards to pay your bills. So your cell phone bill, your water bill, your utilities, all those revolving bills that you have on a monthly basis, the money that you would take and swipe with your debit card, or putting your debit card information on the site, putting your credit card information on the site, pay that bill, then turn around and use that money that you had to pay the credit card off. That actually helps you to build your credit, and that's a step in the right direction. So all right, so eliminate debit cards from your spending habits totally. If you go out at restaurants to eat, use a credit card, especially the cashback credit cards. That will save you tons of money in the long run. You know what I'm saying? If you want to pay, actually, you can also pay your rent with a credit card. I know I'm not sure if you can. I don't Matter of fact, I know you. I don't think you can pay car payments with your credit cards, and I don't think you can pay a mortgage with your credit card because I have a mortgage, and that's a big no-no. So you can't pay a mortgage or a car payment with a credit card, but you can pay your other little bills. And actually, rent, you can pay this with a special credit card, and this special credit card is actually called Bilt. So once you have that credit card called Bilt, you can go ahead and pay your rent with that credit card, and it's actually going to go towards your credit score. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, pay your credit cards before the due date. I cannot stress this enough. I know it sounds good to wait until the due date to pay it, but trust me, if you pay your credit cards before they are due, that's a green flag to the bank. I promise you this. Pay your credit cards 6 months straight, early, and I guarantee the bank is gonna call you, and either they offer you an upgrade credit card or they're gonna raise your limit. Because I'm talking from my experience. That's my experience. It happened to me. That's why I can come and share that knowledge with you. You know what I mean? So definitely go ahead and pay your credit card bill early. All right? If you stuck around for this long, I really appreciate you. And for all the people that stuck around, I have 2 bonus tips for y'all. The 2 bonus tips I have today is actually, if you want to set up your kids for the future, I know a lot of you have kids. If you want to set up your kids for the future, what you can do is actually add your children as an authorized user on your credit card. You know what I mean? And that's actually gonna, all that good history you have, all that, what's the word I'm looking for? All the good history that's coming from your credit card and all the payment history, everything is gonna go directly to the child. All that history is gonna transfer over to them, right? So 18 years later or 20 years later, say they walk in to buy themselves a car, they're not gonna be worried about, oh, I don't have enough credit history, because you assigned them up as an authorized user on your credit card, even though they weren't the ones physically swiping the card. All that swipes that you did, they were getting credit for it as well. You know what I mean? So that's also a good tip, man. Add your kids to your credit cards. It's gonna help them a long way. All right? And then